今天呢，我们也邀请到一位特别来宾，他呢要担任我们开场表演的嘉宾，希望大家把热情借给我，一起来欢迎他。好，我看一下他准备好了没有 ？OK， 好，把热情给到我们超人气偶像温妮。 现在我要听到一个最大声的尖叫声。平凡的过敏反应，却毫无头绪，不自觉又想起你，什么原因？我看见太阳就会打喷嚏，要加一个喷嚏才来得客气。 好习惯，好习惯，偏偏对你免疫。但是我对阳光过敏，没道理。过于遥远的是你，让人在意。我不知道你，就不知道我知不知道你。I'm the weak me. Hey boy. I'm the weak me. Hey boy， 那个人就是你。先放松神经，张开耳朵聆听，随时加入我的 party， 距离不会是问题。遇见你的几率是多大的幸运，我不太确定，但肯定不容易。想听我说情话，我还要看情况。那些很肉麻的话我不会讲，太假了，好浮夸，算了吧，撒野了。 我看见大太阳就会打喷嚏，要加一个喷嚏才来得客气。好习惯，好习惯，偏偏对你免疫，但是我对阳光过敏，没道理。过于遥远的是你，让人在意。我不知道你知不知道我知不知道你。I'm the weak me. Hey boy. I'm a with me. Hey boy， 那个人就是你。我知不知道你？我不知道你知不知道我知不知道你？我不知道你知不知道我知不知道你？尖叫声 with me。Hey boy， I'm with me。Hey boy， 那个人就是你。 掌声鼓励给到温妮，
谢谢，
欢迎温妮，欢迎
，Hello，
好久不见，
真的很久不见。
好的，请我们温妮跟我们所有的乘客、球迷朋友们呢打声招呼。
Hello， 大家好，我是温妮。
哎呦，温妮最近是不是有很多好消息可以跟大家分享一下？
对，我最近发行了我最新的 EP， 叫做《温室花朵》。
恭喜恭
对
喜！
那接下来也有3场巡回，在明天、后天。明天呢在台中，然后后天在高雄。那6月4号在台北有一场我个人的演唱会。
好的，那喜欢温妮的朋友们呢，记得要多多关注温妮的社群啦，取得这些资讯。那听说呢，温妮是我们的乘客，
是，
请问一下温妮，
对，
有没有最喜欢哪一位球员？
哪一位吗？
对，
我觉得这样讲很官方，但是我是真的都蛮喜欢每一位的。
哎呦，其实温妮在赛前有跟我说啊，
对
为什么他会这么说？因为他很喜欢领航员的
团队球风
没错。
哎，掌声鼓励一下吧。
我真的很喜欢。
好，那最后呢，请温妮给我们领航员加油打气一下，好不好？
好，希望今天领航员可以夺下冠军，杀进总冠军。
谢谢温妮，请温妮稍作休息，谢谢，谢谢。让我们欢迎 P.LEAGUE Crew。
It's the end of the month and the weekend. I'ma spend this track, everything on me. Yeah, I'ma tip myself, I'ma spend it on myself. I'ma drop it like it's pouring, I'ma pour it on myself. Check, 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 check the money making bank account number. That's that shit that's never getting bounced on your bitch. I do the money dance. I just made 100 bands. When the stars say sign for it, I'ma leave my autograph. Dollar bills, watch it falling for me. I love the way that feels. Dollar bills, keep on falling for me. I love the way it feels. I came here to drop some money, dropping all my money. Drop some money, all this rap so yummy, yeah. Drop, 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 drop. All this rap so yummy. How you like that? Now, bring out your boss, bitch. How you like that? How you like that? How you like
热情掌声送给 P.LEAGUE Crew， 精心为我们季后赛所安排的全新舞蹈 P.LEAGUE Crew。精彩的开场演出结束之后，马上要来为各位介绍今天对战两支球队登陆球员名单。首先要来为各位介绍是今天来访客队台北富邦勇士登陆球员，球衣背号0号的 Leader 赖廷恩，球衣背号1号陈范博彦，球衣背号8号周桂宇，球衣背号13号林梦学。球衣背号21号曾祥军，球衣背号23号石伯恩，球衣背号24号简廷照。台北富邦勇士本场是先发5人名单，球衣背号3号张宗宪，球衣背号5号 Chris Johnson 强森，球衣背号12号林志杰，球衣背号14号蔡文成，球衣背号32号 Igor Zaitsev 赛瑟夫。为各位介绍台北富邦勇士总教练许晋哲，助理教练吴永仁、江志正、魏维。林伟浩以及体能教练郑维轩领队蔡成儒。
全员蓄势待发，准备征服天际。Nobody can play stronger than us. We ready， 只有我们可以，我们是最强王者。Let's go, pilots! It's our sky.
今年变成不可忽视的一支强队了。
只有努力，才能扛下所有压力。
我们团队战力在那边，也是有不同人会跳出来。
从来就不是靠一个人的球队。
And if I promise something, I always do it. We are going to be on the playoffs. Be sure on that.
Now is the moment to start playing defense. We need to fight. We have to play aggressive. Nobody can play stronger than us.
各位乘客，
危险任务尚未完成，下一站。
It's our sky。桃园璞园领航员球员名单：球衣背号00，空中快递拆弹高手，飞扣后卫阿瑞陈宇润。球衣背号1号，空中新势力领航大门神，篮板先知丁恩迪。球衣背号25号，领航不倒翁，你的护国神阵雷震。球衣背号15号，你的超跑坦克3分移动炮台，砰砰陈冠全。球衣背号21号，成为你最有力的后盾，攻守兼具，德州球王陈立焕。球衣背号22号，领航招牌大锁 Triple H 捍卫战士大汉黄宏汉。球衣背号69号，顺风飞翔，永不放弃，狂野 MVP， 这是69罗志祥。球衣背号28号，大哥回来到领航定心丸，台湾阿耀17耀。上礼拜先发5人名单，球衣背号4号 Number 4。爱的弓箭手3分射进你的心，爱神 Jeff Ayers。球衣背号30号，控球魔术师神奇小白白耀成。球衣背号27号，3分流星雨篮球情人状元郎马耀张镇雅。球衣背号12号，我们的秘密武器篮球贵公子希德利加康。接下来欢迎我们球衣背号42号 ，Number 42， 领航暴徒燃烧你的狂 ，Jason Washburn。总教练 Camino， 助理教练 Diego， 助理教练及球员发展总监杨一峰，助理教练黄启峰，数据分析师柯焕维，技术教练曹伟杰，体能教练刘年杰，管理李文轩，管理陈柏彦，防护师彭立珍，防护员吴云凯，总经理陈信安，双方球员握手致意。
一切的共鸣就成了 hash。加速的世界也就像百老汇，每个 U 它得着睡，空气它细胞像药水，氧气刺激每一条神经。Body Mary， 吸引力法则的效应让我觉得很犀利，承受每个银河系就像电影星际效应。I don't wanna talk shit， you think it's funny？Your time is money。P.LEAGUE， 我是汗水的燃烧我的正义。Oh my P.LEAGUE， 把我每分每秒掌控在我手里。Oh my P.LEAGUE， 每天气像离火币，就让上不再冲到底，分秒必争撑下去，谁输赢还未定。
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, seniors and youth. 5 games into this year's playoffs run, the home team has won every single game. And on a Friday night, the Taoyuan Pauian Pilots returned to their hangar after 761 days since their last playoff game here at home, and they're hoping for some home cooking. Now, despite failing to score 80 points in the first 2 games of the series, Pilots are hoping to lock down the Braves first before letting progression to the mean can take place with their shooting splits. It's been a while since the Pilots even hosted a home game here since the regular season. There's their matchup card in Series B. Taipei Fubon Braves on the left, the second seed from the regular season against the Pilots after a 1-year hiatus from the playoff run. We'll get to host this 3rd game of 5 with the Braves already up 2 games to none. Last night, the Dreamers threw an early haymaker with 39 points, a Plus League playoff record in the first quarter, and staved off elimination. 59 points from their imports, 22 from Chen off the bench. Now the Pilots trying to avoid the distinction of being the first team in the Plus League playoffs to get swept. Teams that are down 0-2 all in this round, this level, have been victorious 3 of 3 games. On the Mandarin broadcast is Chen Ziwei and Mark 田宏培。球迷朋友们，你找到了 Plus 的英文转播，要看紫薇跟田宏培的讲评，当然就按照中文的连接。谢谢你的收看，记得我们的直播都要按赞。I'm Ryan Chen, the English play-by-play, joined by Kyle Hudson in a new venue for you, Kyle.
Exactly, Ryan. Thank you for having me. First time in the Taoyuan Arena, and it's a great place to be. The atmosphere is going to be really high, and we should find a very entertaining game today.
Well, the Pilots maybe have almost a brand new squad. They do have a happy memory last playing here, all the way back in Season 1, Game 2. We'll get into that story if we have the availability, but one theme that is going to play out for both teams is kind of the youth movement that's happening. Of course, the Pilots naturally don't have that many vets on their team, but it was Ja Sokoy and some of the younger second-generation players for the Braves stepping up in their victory in Game 2 after being down, actually, for the first time in this series. So Ja Sokoy spoke to us pre-game about the way that the Braves are kind of shifting from those older vets, the 2-time defending champs, to the student squad.
也没有什么太多的感觉，因为我觉得身为一个传统的强队，本来就是只要有谁状况不好，然后就必须要有人马上可以跳出来帮助球队。那整个季后赛的系列战有很多场球赛，所以其实没办法保证每一场的没办法保证有一个球员他每一场状况都很好。那当然就是。只要有谁可能状况比较不好的时候，就必须要有人马上跳出来帮助球队。那我很开心，我们在那时候属于比较年轻的球员，那可以顶住这个压力，然后帮助球队拿下胜利，这样对。其实就像前几天教练有讲，就是我们比较年轻的球员在一开始其实只是上了场，就是想办法把防守做好。包含我自己在前几季的季后赛，包含例行赛，也是一上场就是先把防守或是教练交代给我的事情去做好。那在现在就是期许自己可以在 防守上做好以外，然后在进攻上也可以帮助球队做出一些贡献，然后不要让对手的防守太轻松嘛。对，就是想办法做出自己擅长的事情。那除了防守以外，再多做一些事情，在进攻上可以帮助球队这样。对。
Josh saying that they're a strong team, so no matter what kind of personnel is out there, they have to figure it out and win. Now, can't guarantee who it will be, but they happen to be the kids in the last game, and also sharing, just like in the regular season, start on defense and make his contributions on offense. The Braves, actually Coach Roger admitted, mistakenly played too much zone defense, which the Pilots took advantage of in the third quarter. But toward the end of that quarter and into the fourth, it was pressure man defense by the Braves that really turned the game around for them.
Oh, exactly. And you know, Coach Roger did mention they maybe stayed in zone for too long, but basketball is all about adjustments. And you know, if one defense doesn't work, you got to switch to another. And
其实我觉得以昨天看梦想家的比赛，我觉得我们上一场的表现，其实第一节到第三节的强度跟选择性都蛮好的，但是其实就是在第四节的进攻端跟防守端的漏洞跟进攻的选择性在做调整后，我觉得我们今天这场会蛮有希望拿下胜利。因为其实今年是我第一次打季后赛嘛，然后第一场没有那么的果断出手，然后打完那天之后，其实我自己回去想一想，就是因为我从季初到季后的时候，其实我上场机会其实是比较偏少的，然后在季后可能就是有上场机会，然后让我也把握住了，然后让我觉得其实我不用想太多，就是果断的出手，有空档就出手，然后压迫性的防守，然后让教练看到我的努力这样子。
Jackie Lee Jiakang, number 12, sharing that they were actually playing pretty well quarter 1 through 3, but need to communicate in the game. And of course, they've had a couple days to make their adjustments and hopefully get the victory. Also saying that he's one of the players who kind of partway through the season suddenly thrust into a much bigger role. And after game 1, thought about it some more and wanted to play with more conviction. He and the team did do that in the end. Now, we talk about the kids, but there are some other important personnel changes out there that we'll get to as the game progresses. Chen Ho-Ming will be the crew chief of tonight's officiating staff. And now on to the starting lineup for the Braves. It's the three wise men, Jet, Beast, and Winston, together with Chris Johnson making his Braves playoff debut next to Ior Zaisev. And the change for the Pilots is Ethan Bayelson at point, Lee Jiakang, Mayao, Sansayan. They're playing small forward, and Jeff Ayers and Jason Washburn are the two imports. Pilots still wearing their pinstripe orange jerseys from that they started with the series with. Now, as mentioned, some personnel changes. Johnson getting his first start with the Braves in the playoffs. He had to battle some knee and shoulder issues, but making his debut on the road, what it seems to me is that the Braves are kind of thinking defense first as well, as Johnson and Zaisev have in and out abilities, but protecting the paint will be an emphasis for them today.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Johnson's long arm and Zaisev's big body, just having those two down there for the Braves definitely clogs up the paint for the Pilots. So even if they are able to dribble penetrate, look for those big guys to try to alter some shots, or maybe you know, see him kick it out for some threes instead of some floaters and layups around the basket. So we'll see how that plays out.
In the regular season, Zaisev and CJ, 7 wins, 2 losses. Only defensively give up 90.9 points per game. And those 2 losses, one at Hooping against the Pilots, where they gave up 95 points, and then a couple weeks later against the Steelers in a game that didn't matter to the Braves, they gave up 120 points. So maybe the sample's a little bit skewed. But meanwhile, for the Pilots, Ayers and Washburn was the import duo for the first game. And during the regular season, they also allowed the lowest opponent score, but also themselves score the least among the possible import combinations for the Pilots, only 85.5. So the ceremonial tip is in the books, and here we go. BG3 will retreat back to get the basketball, and it's Pauian running the point. Kind of a makeshift zone by the Braves as Washburn will take a shot from the corner. Off the top of the backboard, and a beast with the first rebound.
We'll see one of these teams try to jump out early and put a lot of pressure on one another as, you know, the game just starts. And
on the rebound, Johnson blocked, and then a fadeaway attempt too strong. And here's something to look out for. Pilots on the run. BG3, an early three is up and out. Johnson trailing, can't lay it in. And missing a second effort as well. So we are scoreless through a minute in the game.
Now Johnson's showing some rust from having playing for a couple games, but it's good to see he's getting a lot of opportunities around the rim, lots of offensive rebounds. So we'll see if Washburn and Ayers can grab some boards on the defensive end.
Nice pass by Ethan to Jason Washburn down low. So that's how the scoring gets started. To the corner, Winston getting the start for the first time in the series. Right back from Beast, another miss. As Jeff Ayers, or shared with us his nickname of Pendy. Taoyuan with a transition three, too strong.
I think a big point for the Pilots are going to have to bring Big Z and Johnson out of the paint and try to draw them out. And as we saw, Big Z came out for a high contest on the wing, which leaves a lot of space in the paint for some penetration drives or just maybe some quick passes.
Shot fake, little dump off to Washburn. He's walled up by Z, but it doesn't matter. So Washburn with a couple of buckets to start the scoring tonight. Jet driving, strip from the side as full court pass to Ethan. Back to Jackie and avoids the block of Johnson. So the Pilots, without the three-pointer, still get the lead at the very start of the game, just like the first two of the series.
Yeah, we're seeing the Pilots push the ball uncharacteristically. It seems like they're pushing the pace, and they're being rewarded for it at the moment.
Jet guarded by Taoyuan. Nice crossover to a fadeaway and a beautiful swish by number 3.
A little one-on-one action there. Jet saw an opportunity and decided he could take his man and open up the scoring here for the Braves.
Down low to Washburn, too easy. Another assist for Ethan. He does lead the Pilots in that department. 5.5 assists through 2 games. And dribble drive, but right out to Z. He'll try to take it in and float it in. Is number 32.
Yeah, we're seeing early the Pilots just trying to maneuver the ball around and find optimal spacing as
it's Jeff Ayers with a 3. And that's 3 for 3 with his first attempts in all 3 games of the series.
You know, with just a little ball movement and correct spacing, we're seeing the Pilots finding all the open shots in the world.
Johnson will give it a try, but also off the mark. And again, Pilots maybe want to settle down because their half-court offense has been working. Now the Braves shape into a man defense now. Ayers does average the team-high 20.5 points per game. Pilots rotate around as Jackie puts it up.
Yeah, good defensive recognition by the Braves by switching it up as all of their bigs were just getting out of position, and just the ball movement by itself was creating too many openings. But as we're seeing the Pilots push the ball.
Little 3-on-1 that Winston, you can say, probably successfully gets the foul and forces him at the free throw line because That's another run-out opportunity for the Pilots. Get another look at previously. This is probably the highest difficulty shot by Washburn, the turning hook shot. But the rest of it coming pretty easily thanks to his teammates' assist.
Yeah, Washburn coming out here ready to play, just positioning himself in the most optimal spots to put the ball in the basket.
His first free throw is in.
And not afraid to get physical either, is trying to put that ball in the basket any way possible, even as he has to draw some fouls and put his body in the way.
A 2-for-2 trip. So 13-4, the Pilots jumping out early. Now their shooting splits have not been that impressive, but at least at the free throw line have been holding their own at 72%. Down low to Johnson, he's spinning around and he's got the reverse leg.
Seems like the bigs on both sides of the court are making a really big impact on the offensive end early, so just keep a lookout for these guards trying to create some plays, maybe play some set plays to look for their bigs down low.
There's a mismatch, but Jackie fires away, and again, no good as the full court pass to Beast. He'll get the and one. Caught some of the Pilots not getting back in time. And the Braves still hanging in there despite the Pilots' strong start. We'll be going to a break as coming back, it's Beast leads the Jie, who will have a bonus free throw coming up.
谢谢 Pilots Crew。好的，接下来我们要准备来干扰客队罚球了。感谢今天棉豆腐提供的催眠面包枕。只要我们成功。
Like the stream for the playoffs, arriving in the fourth city here in the four-team playoffs. The Pilots get started off early with some easy buckets, especially to Jason Washburn, but the Braves also finding their opportunities down low as well. It's some dribble drive penetration. It's also in the full court too with Beast having the last opportunity.
Yeah, we've seen both teams push the pace here early, and just that transition defense is very important for not only the Pilots but the Braves as well, as you know, just one slip up can end up for an and one basket, as we saw in the last play.
No substitutions though for the Braves and neither for the Pilots. Washburn going with the left hand this time and can't stuff it in this time. Another stop for the Braves as they're on the run. Winston spinning and missing.
Look for the hot hand of Washburn as trying to find some positioning here down low. Calling for the ball, just ready to either distribute or take that shot. And
Zhang Zhenya from the right corner, it's in. Having a pretty decent series despite a regular season where Zhang Zhenya or Mayao left the Pilots fans a little bit wanting, but 3 for 8 on the series is actually above average as Ayers pulls down another board.
Just pushing the ball once more.
In and out though with a layup.
But we're seeing early success from pushing the ball, and but not only that, half-court offense by the Pilots and the Braves on both ends of the court are working pretty well. So even though this is historically a low-scoring arena, we are seeing a pretty good boost of offense from both teams early on in this first quarter.
Crow play on one side, down to Washburn. Out to Ayers as they leave Jackie wide open. This three is good. There's definitely a sigh of relief for Jackie Lee Jiakang, who's part of the squad that was 0 for 19 shooting the three ball in the first 2 games. Now it's Jet going one-on-one on Zhang Zhenya, and he takes advantage of the rookie once again.
Yeah, one thing from the Pilots I like to see is getting Jason Washburn the ball down low, and you know, he's had time to facilitate, or if he wants, take it straight to the basket. As he did right there, easy layup, good seal on Johnson, and just a nice little spin to the basket as Jason Washburn is telling the Braves, we're not going home today. We're going to come back for game 4.
Beast will find another three. Long rebound, eventually tipped out. In a scramble, Winston will kind of jump into Ayers, and there'll be a foul. The second by the Pilots as a team. As you see previously, Zhang Zhenya freed up from the right corner, and then next time they make an adjustment and Jackie takes advantage. And now the Pilots will bring on more firepower with number 69, Lu Junxiang, who scored an average of 20 points in the first 2 games. Johnson on the 3, and that's a beautiful bucket. So the lead for the Pilots is 5 points as they continue to face this Braves man defense. 2 imports on the side. Ayers got Johnson in the air, but a missed mid-range shot.
Yeah, Ayers just having the ability to not only take it to the rim, but also shoot on the outside.
As Beast will go to the basket again. This time beating Ayers down low.
And just the versatility from these Pilots players. We'll see no adjustment as no one steps up.
And he drops it in. So good answer by 69.
The Pilots shooting extremely well, and you know the Braves came out in a pretty loose zone defense and had to switch to man, but it seems like it's not helping as the Pilots' ball movement is not allowing the Braves to set up and leaving a lot of open players ready to shoot the ball.
And a second time a strip from the side, as previously it was Beast working in the pick and roll.
Let's go, Pilots!
He's seen 23 minutes per game as another Jason Washburn layup. There's some kind of miscommunication by the Braves again on that switch. Beast going to work on other number 12, Jackie, and there's a whistle as a few Pilots were in the neighborhood.
That's good body control right there by Beast, just taking his strides, long strides, as we saw. A little mismatch there on Jet as Washburn was able to back cut and find the opening from Ayers. As a beautiful pass, a beautiful find, and a beautiful finish.
Beast once again stepping up to the free throw line. His high of scoring in the series, only 8 points. Getting started early. Definitely something that we wondered is if Roger wants his veterans to play their best minutes in the first quarter, as they're still, relatively speaking, hot from their warm-ups.
Yeah, exactly. You want to start off strong, as you know, once you get cold, you sit on the bench for a little while, your knees get a little sore, your shot gets a little off, so you want to be as most game ready as possible, and starting the game off is the best time to do that.
Braves zoning up on Ayers going to work. He flings it up for a miss. Seems like both sides want to get a whistle on that play as ball tipped up and out of bounds. Intended for a KJ down court.
Yeah, good hustle by Justin there to get back on transition defense like we mentioned earlier. A lot of outlet passes, but Pilots learned their lesson and got back on D to break up that pass.
Ling Chen checking in the game. Ken actually played a sizable role during the regular season. Actually was a starter as their local power forward. Zheng Xiangjun will check in opposite him, but it was DNP the first 2 games. Zheng Xiangjun coming off the bench for the first time in this series. As Zaitsev, little driving kick from the corner. Zheng Xiangjun drops in the deep one. And just like that, the deficit or the Pilots lead down to 3.
Yeah, just in the blink of an eye, you can't give up on any possession. And
getting in there, it's a turnover. But quickly in transition the other way. Justin, finger roll is good. A good answer by the Pilots. Another 3-ball, and it's good. It's Beast with a good start to his afternoon or evening already.
You know, we saw some early pressure there by the Braves. A little full court pressure. Just get the Pilots a little bit out of their game, as they've been having a pretty good offensive run so far. As Washburn a little angry. He thought he had a foul there, but
strip on the other side, and Washburn is staying ahead. Gets the one-handed jam, so not the worst result, as the Braves have made a lot of mistakes in transition. They might want to consider slowing it down.
Yeah, they're getting the ball stripped a lot, either on maybe some quick passes or some quick dribble penetration. So we'll see how they adjust to that in the second quarter, as this first quarter is winding down.
Already 11 assists for the Pilots in this first frame, as Beast out to Zheng Xiangjun with a corner going down, but 2 bounces and out. And there's another area, the Braves rebounding on the offensive end, as they'll get a third opportunity here. Skip past the Beast. Time running down to Zheng Xiangjun. Will it count? It looks like the referee's indicating it will. They'll probably go to the monitor. But a pretty good answer by the Braves, all things considered.
So the one big problem there was offensive rebounding, as we saw the Braves not only get a second chance, but a third chance at scoring the ball. So we're going to have to see these Pilots make sure to block out every single player, not only the bigs, but the wings and whoever shot it as well. As can't give up any baskets, as you know, the referees are going to go to the monitor and look this over, as we see this replay right here for you guys.
So time will expire regardless, unless there's additional foul. It definitely looks like it's still on his fingertips. So the big scoreboard already only showing 26, as the referee officially gives a signal while the Pilots crew perform. Now we're ready to go to our break. We're here in Taoyuan for Game 3 of the series between the Braves and Pilots.
之前勇士队曾祥军的篮下补篮，时间来不及，2分不算。
好的，我们Pilots Crew要来丢出我们中场游戏的信物，总共会有10位乘客可以参加我们的中场游戏，请举高你的双手，让我们Pilots Crew知道你在哪里。恭喜拿到信物的乘客球员朋友们，记得在第2节倒数结束3分钟下来我们记录台报到，恭喜你们，谢谢。 现在回到场上的是我们的大汉黄宏汉，还有我们的阿瑶施静瑶，还有你的护国神阵林正。接着欢迎我们69陆俊祥。
Jiangdong is in the building. The largest supporter of the NCCU Griffins, where Zhang Zhengya and KJ and Ding Di are alumni of. See a replay of that final layup by Zheng Xiangjun. Need to get it off a little earlier. So in these playoffs, despite the big margins of the final score, of course, every play really matters to a much higher degree than in our 120-game regular season. Looking at the box scores, the Pilots had 11 assists, and a lot of fast break points, but the Braves had 7 offensive rebounds, and a big reason why they're in the game. It's the younger lineup for the Braves. KJ lining a 3 up, but short. Try to chase his own rebound, but it's the Pilots on the run. They're going actually with some veterans out there. Huang Han, Si Jingyao checking in the game for the first time.
Yeah, we see the Pilots keep moving the ball around, having this little motion offense as Justin tries to find an opening.
Ayers will try the 3, but it's ricocheted out. Quickly down court. Dream got it around Ayers for the lay-in. And Caminos in the second game post-game said, we need to hold the Braves under 80. Well, I think he was using a little gamemanship because trying to play a fast pace, at least early, is what's going on. Lington down low, overshoots the layup with Johnson towing the back line.
Now we see the Braves playing fast as there's no compromise for them. They always like to push the ball and make things happen on the offensive end. And maybe a little slow here, but a little dribble penetration.
A hook pass as TJ will get a shot off. But a miss off glass. And another opportunity for the Braves. Johnson down low, but Josh have to fling it in wildly. 5 seconds left. And again, the Pilots can't secure the rebound. Is finally Si Jingyao with an uncontested rebounding effort there.
Yeah, the Pilots are very lucky on that possession. They're just giving up too many offensive rebounds. The Braves didn't score on that possession, but you give them that many chances, eventually the ball's going to go in the basket.
Justin 3 for 3, but that one's no good. And right now, the Pilots don't have a good answer for the Braves all-switch lineup that's out there, on defense especially. Johnson getting over for a screen as working with Josh. Now they switch sides as TJ beyond the arc will stroke it.
The Braves finally getting their first lead in a while, as the Pilots have been struggling a little bit offensively in this quarter, as you know, the major scorer of Washburn is no longer in, but maybe a little too much power there from Ayers, but we hear booing from the crowd, but we'll see on this replay. Oh.
Previously it was the fast break, as this time Zheng Xiangjun sneaks it in. No worry about the clock, and previously Ayers going at Zheng Xiangjun, who is a big, and a little bit of confusion on the Pilot side as some were indicating timeout, but others were trying to get a substitution. Washburn is in for Ling Chen.
The Braves here running a lot of off-ball action, either down screens or elevator screens, but we see Johnson with the miss there, but a lot of ball movement and a lot of off-ball action, and that's what we like to see from the Braves, just putting these Pilots out of position on defense and trying to find a favorable switch to find a mismatch for either Johnson or a guard on Washburn.
Urizasa's back in for the Braves. on the ball screen. Will pick up his dribble. As Justin sliced through, but swatted away by CJ. And here comes TJ, will get a foul and will go to the line.
TJ just put on a burst of speed there to get enough space. As we mentioned earlier in the game, just having Johnson down low in the paint as a body and his long arms definitely didn't try to deter a shot there as he went straight up and put it right back.
Well, as strong as the Pilots started this game scoring, right now in the second quarter in a almost 3.5-minute drought, while the Braves doing more than chipping into the deficit and actually taking the lead.
You know, consistency is key in basketball, and just having these little droughts, can't have those, as the Braves have fought back tooth and nail and now have a 3-point lead in the early parts of the second quarter.
Now Washburn with a tough turnaround, but that one's halfway down and out. So the luck, just like that, in less than a half-time span, it seems to run out. Backdoor to Tokoi, hanging in there, and the Pilots get a stop.
Yeah, just got to play it one play at a time. After a stop, you got to score on the other end, and
this time Justin plays it off of a fake and scores, and so that ends the Pilot scoring drought. Beast avoiding the stumble and eventually getting the finger roll. Trying to get some extra on that, but now joins the fray on defense as Ayal probing down to Washburn, who beats Zaitsev to the bucket.
even though Washburn was a little late coming to the party on offense, he just found the open space down low on the block and has continued to fill up the stat sheet as he now has 16 points for the night.
Jumping in on the passing lane, Ayal will swing it over early offense as Lu Zhixiang way off the mark there. One thing that Coach Caminos mentioned is that every single Pilots Braves game this season has been held under 100 points. So one thing is that you can theorize is maybe the players are out of legs to shoot by committing some defense, but Beast stays hot and finally forcing a timeout of Coach Caminos and the Pilot staff. They'll go to the bench and talk it over, now facing a 4-point deficit here at home in Taoyuan. And we'll go to a break with the following messages for you, the viewing audience.
一起来干杯！记得回家之后呢，也可以上 YouTube 截图。Hello， 温妮，一起来干杯，跟我们的林正来干杯吧！
手中没有饮料的概念，
非常棒！哇，卡哇伊嘞，耶！谢谢温妮，一起来干杯 ！Hello，
要敲一下杯子哦。
Hello， 一起来干杯，嗨！一起来干杯！ 赞啦赞啦！帅哥美女一起来干杯！耶！好喝的 Celsius， 一起来跟我们林正干杯一下！嗨，在喝水的美女一起来干杯！谢谢大家。
Welcome back to the action. A Plus League Championship Trophy keychain, another playoff merch. You can get yours at pleagueofficial.com/shop. Beast making his presence felt. Earlier, it was this tough fast break layup where he had the and one, and then a couple 3-point attempts later, putting the Braves up on top of the game. And so much for our prep notes about how, oh, the Braves are transitioning their dynasty. It was like, well, in a new game of the series, one of the elder statesmen turning the fortunes around for the two-time defending champs.
Yeah, we're seeing a big battle. Two Goliaths here with Beast having 15 points already in this game. And on the other end, Washburn with 16. So these are the two big names we'll be looking to see on the offensive ends on both sides for the rest of this game.
Eye out down to Washburn. With TJ sagging off the double. And eventually there's a foul, the first by the Braves on the quarter. So as you mentioned, Jason Washburn basically isolated on the side, but you always want to put a shooter on that same side. Sijiao having missed game 2 with a number of nagging injuries. Now he catches, and they say an illegal screen there. Ayers will be the one that's called on. Another look at his left arm.
Probably a little too far away from his body, just caught the defender there and carried it with him. But we'll see the Braves here on this end on offense, just taking it pretty slow. Trying to get a favorable screen, maybe a switch.
As Beast trying to back down Jackie. There's a whistle first as he was about to make his move. So on the other side, Ayers with 3 personal, and Jackie right now having to use a lot of his against the other number 12.
Yeah, Beast so far this game has just been looking to go one-on-one with maybe some smaller guards or a little weaker guards.
Jet probing and taking the fade away. So Zhang Dongxin has now got 4 points to his night.
You see the Pilots using Jason Washburn as a down screen there, but we're trying to run the offense through him at the moment. And
over to Andy with a little corner jumper and a perfect all-net jumper from number 1 Amdi.
Yeah, Washburn's not only filling up in the points category, but he's also drawing a lot of defenders to him, which allows him to find the open shooter in the corner with Amdi there, as we saw Chris Johnson with a little turnaround jumper in the corner.
Definitely very much like CJ to make a more difficult shot than the one that was made on him. Jackie and Washburn on the screen and roll. There's a mismatch, but they get out of it. So Washburn will line up a 3, and it's off. Jackie fights for the rebound as there was a whistle. Seems like the referees say it happened earlier.
Yeah, maybe called it an on-the-floor foul instead of a shooting foul, but we'll take a look here as...
So previously it was Jet with his trademarks fadeaway jump shot, and on the other side, Jackie in the right spot. Well, it is a good argument to the Pilots that there might be goaltending, but the question is when the foul occurred.
Exactly. Whether on the floor first or if they continue it into the shooting act.
Now, if the foul was called strictly on a rebound, then Jackie was kicking it off the hardwood, so not much going on there. They do inbound it out of the sideline. Got by CJ, the layup goes, and yes, this one will count. This time beating Chris Johnson, so the foul trouble for both sides now.
We see here just quick burst of speed, a little mismatch on a guard versus a big, and just got enough contact to draw that foul right here. And good finish at the rim, staying concentrated as he knew Chris Johnson was behind him and could try to reach and block it at any moment, but good finish from Jackie there.
So it could be on Chris Johnson, or could it be on Iyer Zaitsev? We'll have to double check. As the Braves calling a timeout and talking it over on the bench, as Roger also getting a word in with the officials. Understandably, the officiating on the game is definitely something that both coaches and the both fan bases will really key in on. But on the Braves side, what worked earlier with having their man defense, but the Pilots finding a few successes when they get to drive the basketball. That's always big. And Jackie scored 12 points early, as we see actually the foul was KJ trying to check Amdi on the switch. Of course, those two, as we mentioned, teammates at the college level, and so that'll be a foul coinciding, as Jackie did take the little bit of a shoulder shrug from Johnson, but they don't call that particular foul. Say he had an advantage on the drive. Interestingly enough, looks like we'll have a Amdi free throw coming up, theoretically. But there's a lot of different ways for the referees to handle like coinciding fouls. So they'll take it out of bounds, in fact. So that's definitely a tough result for the Braves. Quickly down low, but there was a foul on the shot, as it was such an awful miss by Jackie. The referees went out, there was some illegal contact, and now it's the Braves who have found their feet stuck in the mud.
Yeah, this game's a game of runs, and it seems like the Pilots are turning it up towards the end of the second quarter and trying to put as much pressure on the Braves and regain that initial lead that they had.
So Jackie Lee Jiakang with 8 points and 2 assists. Making that 1-2 out of Niao Li. Went to Nansan, and so he joined several other Nansan High School alums on this Pilot squad, as CJ will check out of the game. Braves lead is down to 2, as Jet didn't hit Beast on the flare screen, so they'll go handoff. They'll 3 and almost.
Yeah, Beast got a little hot hand at the moment, as you know, he's been putting the ball in the basket pretty regularly for them this first and second quarter, and you know, can't let him get too many wide open shots, because he barely missed that one, and we'll definitely see more come down the road.
Takes it himself and drops it in, and so there it is, tied up at 42. You see the orange shirts that were laid out for the fans on the lower level. Capacity for this game set at 5,700. Chen Xiangjun hit it earlier and follows it up with another. He had an important 3 in the fourth quarter of the last game they played each other, kind of capping off the Braves' run. Now Washburn guarded by 3. Ill-advised pass there across the entire defense.
So far, we're seeing the offense for the Pilots run through Washburn, either him taking the shots directly and creating openings, or him facilitating the ball as he tried to find a little cross-court pass there, maybe a little too slow, but definitely trying to get the ball through him.
Ethan forces up a shot. Dysef will pull it down. Odd spacing there with Washburn on the wing on the Iverson cut. Jet hesitates, then the elbow. This time it's off. As Amdi, careless with the basketball, will let it slip out of bounds.
Pilots really liking that little low post action to start the offense, to maybe draw a double team to create some extra space on the other end.
But he fumbles with it. Passes it out as Dysef trying for 3, but he's out with it.
See a favorable switch here. Good mismatch, but good help recovery by the Braves.
Swinging around. Amdi, though, with Jet on him. Down low to Washburn, and there was a whistle first. definitely threat for 3 seconds. They'll just say it's a Jet holding foul. He'll still end Andy to the line.
Andy 要来罚球 ，2 shots。
First one made as the Pilots on the game don't have an edge at the free throw line, but impressive enough. Until that one, no
Commentators curse. Commentators curse, Ryan.
Patient with it and floats it in.
There's some good body control there, absorbing the contact and finishing with that light touch over the rim as
Washburn blows the close one.
We continue to see the spacing.
Will feed Andy to the root. So with less than 2 minutes to go, it's the Braves making a little bit of run, forcing the Pilots to call timeout. It was Zaitsev who's missed a 3 and then taking it inside. He had an impressive mood on Sonny Sakakini for a dunk in game 2 as, again, Zhen Xiangjun kind of surprising Pilots defenders in transition.
See Zaitsev just create some space with his shoulder a little bit. And his beautiful finish, getting that ball high off the glass so MD wouldn't have a chance to block it.
Definitely a question about personnel when it comes to the Pilots. Obviously it started Maya, who presents a big shooting threat for the Pilots out there, but definitely you know Caminos likes to go with defense, and with Jet and Beast having their individual efforts result in scores, definitely think that they want to put more defensive-minded players out there, but with Jeff Ayers with 3 personal fouls, they're kind of forced to put Amdi out there, who's not exactly provided the best spacing out there with that one mid-range jumper.
Yeah. Definitely something the Pilots going to look for is spacing. They've done a fairly good job so far, I would say, on the offensive end. Is just Jason Washburn's presence so far in this game. I know I've said it multiple times so far, but just having him as an offensive threat and getting the ball down low is creating a lot of issues for the Braves, as he has the versatility and the height to see over defenders to pass it to the open guy or take the shot himself.
Winston back in there as the Braves zone up. Driving and kicking. Jackie taking himself to Washburn. And eventually getting a foul out of it. It's Beast. So not the prettiest looking offense, but a good result for the team in orange. Beast's second personal on the night.
You know, with time winding down in this first half, just these free throws are giving the Pilots a little bit of rest that they need to finish strong and push through any fatigue that they're having, as they're going to try to cut down this lead as much as possible before this half ends, as now it's only a 5-point Braves lead at the moment, and with Washburn able to cut it down here with this free throw.
Missing the second. His individual line is 19 points. The leader of the game with Beast trailing at 15. Zaitsev at the high post looking for a handoff. It's Beast on Jackie again. The screen slipped away. It's blocked, but the buzzer means the out of bounds doesn't matter. It'll be a shot clock violation. So good Pilot defense. There you see Michael Singletary, who played pretty well in the first 2 games. We'll have to break that down a little bit more of the import choices at halftime.
For sure.
Minute left. They're looking for Washburn on the cross screen. Forced out by Zaitsev. Making a move baseline and slamming it home. And because the Braves saved their timeouts, they're going to call one, but it's a chance for the home crowd to let Jason Washburn hear their appreciation. 21 points, but he's only got 1 rebound. Come on now, Wash. You see this unique camera look by our partners at Formosa Television. Zaitsev thinking about a travel. It might have been an incidental drop of the basketball. In the end, it's 2 points for the Pilots, pulling it to within 3. Of course, there's not much help on the backside. That time, Andy occupying Zhengxiang string long enough.
Seeing a lot of emotion there by Washburn as he's playing one of his best halves in a while. Like you mentioned, only 1 rebound though, so I don't think that's holding him back from his performance today.
Pilots crew have changed outfits before halftime. Stepping back on the floor, it's Andy, Jackie, Ethan, Washburn, and Justin. And for the Braves, Winston, Jet, Beast, Johnson, and Zaitsev. So a crucial 2-for-1 coming up.
Some early pressure by Justin. You know, gets to throw the Braves off a little bit. Don't want to make it easy for them to set up their offense after the timeout.
Beast left wide open, over adjust as Winston can't put it in. And they do get a follow-up in between Washburn and Andy. And this time Washburn mad at his teammates for not helping out down low. A lot of standing around as Andy will be called for the foul.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier in this game, it's a lot more apparent, but just the offensive rebounds that the Braves are, getting second chance points as Andy didn't step in there on that rebound. Maybe, good play by Beast to take it away from Washburn there and finish with that left hand.
18 points on his first half. Well, yesterday we spoke to the Chen breaking his individual scoring record of 18, and now off to reach into the record book for Beast.
Full court pressure by the Braves. They sag off into half court, but they're going to try to get a stop here to bring the momentum their way going into the second half. But
7-second difference, shot clock to game clock as CJ switched on to Justin. Moving left, putting up a shot, in and out as Andy tipped it on target, but 7 seconds left, another chance for the Pilots. They're patient with it. Justin from field drops it in, and that will be the first half on the Pilots high note. Down by 3 in the game, but looking just as competitive as they've ever been in the series, trying to avoid elimination here at home. We're at halftime here on this Friday night matchup between the Braves and Pilots in the Plus League playoffs. Take a break, back after this.
Pilots Crew!
Girls, generation, let's dance. Hit the beat and take it to the fast lane. BG3, put it back on. 그래요 난 사랑해 언제나 믿어 꿈도 열정도 다 주고 싶어 난 그대 소원을 이뤄주고 싶은 힘들어줄게 소원을 말해봐 I'm genie for you boy 소원을 말해봐 I'm genie for your wish 소원을 말해봐 I'm genie for your wish
好了，掌声鼓励给到我们P.LEAGUE Crew， 谢谢。谢谢我们P.LEAGUE Crew。Hello， 线上还有现场所有乘客球的朋友们，大家好。
Let's turn the lights on real quick here at halftime after the Pilots crew performance. I'm Ryan Chen, joined by Kyle Hudson. Here at halftime as we break down the first half from the Braves Pilots matchup here now that the series has moved to Taoyuan. As we mentioned, the home teams have a huge advantage in the Plus League playoffs. In this particular series of playoff games are 5-0 with a 17-point margin of victory with an average lead of 22.6. Now the Pilots far from that mark. Overall in the Plus League, 19-8 for the home teams. As there we share the team combined statistics where the Pilots might be shooting for better accuracy from the field. But the Braves have one more made three and a couple more free throws made. The rebounding column, their third from the bottom is the biggest one. Braves 31 to Pilots 17. They almost have a dozen offensive rebounds on the game. Now they've not converted on those, all of those, which is good news for the Pilots, but the bad news is also they've not converted on all of those too. Pilots really need to take care of those details.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the Braves being able to just pick up all these extra rebounds compared to the Pilots, like you mentioned. They have converted on a couple of and-ones, and you know those, let's say you just take away 2 offensive rebounds on both those and-one plays, the Pilots would be up at this point. But something they gotta look out for in the next half for sure is protecting that basket, and once protecting it, gotta grab those boards.
Now, talk about the pace of the game as both teams right now looking to cross the century mark if they duplicate their first half effort. But the Pilots' pace was slowed down considerably from first quarter to second quarter. In the first quarter, they got up 23 shots and hit on 12 of them. In the second quarter, 7 of 18. As both teams try to settle in defensively in the half court, it'll be definitely a test of all the small details because the Braves had so many openings on handoffs or on screen and rolls. The Pilots, not so much on their half court effort.
Yeah, for sure. We saw the Pilots come off very hot off this very loose Fubon Braves zone, and you know the Braves quickly adjusted and switched to man-to-man but the Pilots also counter-adjusted as well and found Washburn open on a lot of, like you mentioned, pick and rolls and just some spacing in general. But, as the time goes on, energy wears down, and you start to get more and more familiar with your opponents during the game. So we'll see the Pilots try to get off hot with fresh legs here in the second half, and should be a fun one to watch.
The Pilots, as mentioned before on the broadcast, have never crossed 80 total points scored. Now, one big reason is their locals only shooting at 31% from the field in the previous 2 games. Of course, the lowest mark among the 4 playoff teams. But here in Taoyuan Arena, for the most part, they could count on their defensive efforts. We'll break more little nuggets down in the second segment, but first, we have this break in the broadcast.
活出自己的样子，梦想上路，黑松沙士。
Get lost where only we know. Find our saving grace. On these streets made of gold. Let's go bombs away to brighter days. Let's live in the moment. Don't dip our toes in. Make a great escape. Let's go away and make our great escape. Just you and me, living in a daydream. Let's go.
Panasonic Hockey 好棒棒奖。
你真的好棒棒。
好棒棒的你，值得好棒棒的 Hockey。Hockey 好棒棒奖。好棒来了。
你真的好棒棒。谢谢。
好棒棒的你，值得好棒棒的 Hockey。Hockey 好棒棒奖。等一下。
你真的好棒棒。
好棒棒的你，值得好棒棒的 Hockey。
好了，感谢今天进场陪伴着我们桃园Pauian领航员一起来抗战的所有的乘客朋友。那我们今天呢，场边也有很多。
About 5 minutes until the start of the second half. Tomorrow is the Dreamers who will try to defend home court again up against the Kings who are trying to march on to the Plus League Finals. Leading scorers for the Braves with Beast Lin Zijie leading the field with 18, followed by Jack Zhe Xiangjun 10 points, Johnson with 9, Jet Zhang Dongxian with 6, and TJ Jian Tingzang with 5. Beast's individual scoring high in the playoffs is 27 in the OOT victory over the Dreamers last year in the first round. Obviously had a few catch and shoots, but when the Braves find that he's hot, really let him go to work against the less experienced Pilots defenders on the outside who thought they might have been getting it easy without Michael Singletary in there, but now have to contend with Beast. You have
for sure. Once you take Michael Singletary out, a couple other guys got to step up on the offensive end, and today it's going to be Beast, but you never know who's going to be in the future, so can't take anyone for granted, and Beast definitely came out and torched them early.
The Pilot side for leading scores, Jason Washburn, 21 points. Justin Wu Juxiang with 10. Jack Li Jiakang, who getting the third start of these playoffs, 9 points. Jeff Ayres only has that one three-pointer made, and Amty has his 3. And we're saying praises of Jeff Ayres for hitting the three-pointers that he has in this series. But so far in the game, Jason Washburn has been a big boost. You kind of wonder if those 3 fouls and the rest he's got in the first half might play to the hands of the Pilots in the second half.
Yeah, for sure. We need to see, Ayres step up a little bit. He does have a couple fouls, like you mentioned, but he's only shot 2 two-pointers and 2 three-pointers. So he's got to be a little bit more offensive-minded, as we've seen so far. Jason Washburn has kind of taken over the game, but obviously the Braves are going to try to find a way to answer the Washburn situation, and other guys are going to have to step up, and I think Ayres is going to have to be one of those guys if the Pilots want to take it over the edge tonight.
One last tidbit, the combination of Ayres and Washburn, only 1 and 8 in their last 9 games played together, but maybe that could change here. Facing elimination, we'll go to one last break before the start of the second half.
Celsius 的干杯 Ken。跟我们空中支援的朋友们打声招呼 ，Hello， 跟我们的林正一起来干杯，帅哥美女，你上电视啦 ，Hello， 嗨，干杯干杯，手上刚好有饮料，帅哥一起来干杯一下，耶，嗨，美女，拿你的手机干杯也可以哦，也可以，耶，哦，帅哥干杯啦，赞啦，耶。哎呦，这根本广告等级了嘛 ！Hello， 嗨耶，一起来跟林正干杯，焕焕欢迎你，干杯，耶，谢谢焕焕，欢迎你来。Hello， 我们正道的朋友，嗨，嗨，一起来干杯，帅哥 ，Hello， 干杯干杯，赞啦！耶，在吃东西的美女，一起来干杯哦！食物也可以啦，做出干杯的动作就行了。谢谢你们，耶，非常棒。Hello， 好的，帅哥美女，一起来干杯。也提醒各位上我们大荧幕的朋友们呢，回去 YouTube 把自己上电视的画面截图下来，传到 Celsius 的 IG 呢，就可以获得1箱 Celsius 的能量饮喽。嗨，帅哥，干杯干杯！自己干也行啊，看镜头这边，耶，非常棒，太好了，青春洋溢。哦，这边摆正的哦，这边已经准备好了哦，太好了。哎，待会客队罚球那样干扰也很好哦，谢谢大家，非常棒，非常棒，非常棒！记得回去截图啊，记得哦，上 YouTube 把你们上电视的画面截下来，好不好？嗨，欢迎你们来看球，也特别感谢我们 Celsius 所提供的饮料，非常的好喝，补充你运动的能量。嗨。好的，欢迎各位乘客一起做出干杯的动作。那同时呢，我们也要欢迎我们的与会贵宾，欢迎我们桃园市议员张小云议员，欢迎，欢迎议员，欢迎你，谢谢。
About ready to start the second half. Little slow motion montage of the action from the first half where the Pilots right now facing an 0-2 hole on the series, but of course, as Kyle Julius, former coach in the Plus League, famously say, you have to take it one game at a time. And the good news for the Pilots, offensively, they seem to be doing their part. One note I had pregame was when they shoot below 35% on the season, only 2 wins to 10 losses. And those 2 wins were in their winning streak, where they really ground down their opponents on their defensive side to only about 76 points per game. So that's really the area of the floor that maybe the Pilots need to focus in on a little bit more as we come out of halftime. Justin in for Mayao in the second half starting lineup. Using some fancy footwork and floating it in with the right hand.
You know, that's exactly what you want to start off with if you're the Pilots. Put pressure on them early, cut that deficit down to 1, and, you know, eventually it's going to come in the back of the Braves' minds that, you know, this could be the start of a run.
The foul on the perimeter, as initially Jet played pretty good defense. That half a beat he took off was that opening. Jason Washburn with his first personal on the game. On the near side as Zaitsev asked for the basketball. He blows the left-handed layup. Ethan avoids the travel as the Pilots get set up. Aki missing the 3, but another chance for the Pilots.
Seems like these offensive rebounds are a problem for both teams in this game as Ayers takes it to the basket, but just a little miss as the Braves looking to push the ball.
Yeah, fancy move. Ayers comes back for the contest as Johnson will try. He leaves it short on the second effort, can't stuff it in, and eventually fouled. So in a sense, the Pilots are getting lucky, but I don't know how long they can keep on counting on Johnson missing these bunnies.
For
He'll
sure.
have a trip to the line.
He's right at the rim here. Oh, just barely missed it again, and you know, at that point you just have to foul him, as you can almost guarantee that next basket was going to be a dunk right there, as he didn't want to take any chances, but now the Pilots are going to force Johnson to make him at the line.
And 10 rebounds on his evening. As we mentioned before, making his Braves playoff debut. Interesting, partly because Singletary, 3-year vet with the Braves, has maybe only a 5-3 record against the Pilots here, but 21 points per game plus 53, including that dagger 2 in the last quarter. Justin off timing, he's feeling it.
Really keeping his Braves team second guessing on these little pump fakes and hesitations, and seems to be working so far. As see a beautiful shot by Beast there on that fall away. Continuing to put up some decent numbers here in the second half, excuse me.
21 matching the high from Jason Washburn on the game. He's faking the handoff and slips in for the lay-in. Uncharacteristically a turnover unforced. It's Jet flipping the handover, as you see Justin blocked by Johnson earlier in the game, but now a couple pump fakes has really done some magic. They will go to the monitor to see if it's a 2 or 3 from Beast, as you get an early look as a video broadcast. Between the legs, it's close. Definitely worth a second look. Was called a 3 on the floor.
Very close indeed. Might just have a little sliver of tippy toes there on the line, but we'll see what the referees say when they go back and look at it. Hopefully they have more angles for this, as this is a pretty tough angle to see conclusively.
This is our close-up cam. It gives me the impression that his toes were above the line, but it sure is close.
You know, these little monitors we have here, I wish you could zoom in some more to maybe get a closer look, but very close indeed. And just look at that difficulty of that shot as well.
Here's from the main camera angle, but zoomed in. It's placed about 2 meters higher than the close-up camera. It definitely just depends if you think the very edge of the shoe is down or not.
Yeah, that's true.
They're going to call it a 2 instead. So not only does it change the score by 1 point, but of course both teams get an extra stoppage before we hit the television timeout time, if both teams elect to hang on to their timeout. So it'll be a sideline out of bounds for the Pilots.
Let's go, Pilots! Say let's go,
Backdoor to Justin. They go down to Washburn. To Justin, left wide open. The 3 is in. Number 69 getting the Pilots off to a good start in the second half.
You know, that's one guy you can't leave when you're trying to help Washburn, as Justin was wide open there on that shot, and he's been shown to make a lot of them in the past, so I don't know why they're leaving Justin specifically. They're gonna have to work on their help defense to help off someone that's not continuously hitting threes so far this game, as Justin's just been on fire.
JJ turns it over in the passes. Washburn goes quick and gets it on the other side, beating Zaitsev down low, and just like that, it's a 4-point Pilots lead. Washburn, 2 of 2 from the field. Jump pass by B says Johnson all day to line it up, and maybe you just need to increase the distance between him and the basket, and it gets easier.
For sure. We're seeing a lot of maybe miscommunication on help defense, as we're seeing a lot of open players on both ends of the court from the three-point line.
Well, previously, Washburn kick out to Justin, as in the first half, a lot of the times the Braves were really connected on the backside, but not in that particular instance, as Beast fires another one. Quickly with the lead back, as Ethan will try to, he does. So, just as we can expect, anything we prepare in the notes is going to go opposite to the script.
Yeah, for sure. We're just seeing a three-point shoot-off right now, just a three-point contest, as Beast a little slow to get up. He seems fine, though, but...
Ayers and CJ a little extracurriculars. I feel like both guys could be at fault here, so might be getting away with nothing. But again, Jackie, he's right there with the contest.
Yeah, that's a tough shot.
And on the other side, a little nice handoff, scoop pass to Ethan, who, as we mentioned, 2 of 8 on the series, was actually a positive for them in the first 2 games. Jet will try his own, and Beast over the top, legally, with another rebound. Johnson posted the screen, the ball slips away, and it's a turnover.
See a little scramble here, but able to find Washburn as...
We're dropping the 3. So the Pilots scoring on consecutive possessions, really putting a lot of pressure on this Braves team now.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, Ayers has definitely got to have some offensive presence, as Jet trying to silence the crowd here on that little floater, but Ayers has got to step up and make those big shots, as you know, he's a pretty prolific three-point shooter, and just his big body able to score in the paint, but also on the three-point line, creates a lot of space.
On the backboard, Justin misses the close one, but a lot of defense came over to help, so it's Jet and CJ out. One-handed jam. Finally, something for the road fans to cheer about. Lots of blue shirts in the stands. Great answer. As
beautiful play.
They finally connect one defensive play with a fast break opportunity.
Hopefully we'll get a replay of that later, just so you folks can see it one more time. But a missed 3 there by Jackie, as the Braves still push the pace. And oh, a little scuffle down at the end. Seems like Ayers, a little talk by Ayers and Chris Johnson as we saw a little extra hit from Ayers after the whistle was blown.
There's a lot of conversations going on in the first two games, mainly around number 4, but previously there was the foul. And there's still some more commotion going on as initially I was kind of worried as to what's Ethan doing standing over Beast, but no, he was maybe giving a little bit of concern as the referees will go to the monitors. A lot of words still being exchanged out there. So there'll be a lot to look over, but I feel like technical fouls have been kind of overdue in this series. Is maybe not a nice move by Beast there, but I think Jackie will be the one taking the personal foul.
Took a healthy elbow sandwich right to his mouth, but well, like you said, multiple things happened right after that. Maybe a little extra contact by Ayers at the end, and then the talking on both ends by Ayers and Johnson after the fact.
Now, if you've known the NBA, there's a common understanding between players that you might help each other stay upright, but in the FIBA rule book, in fact, they've actually say that would be an unsportsmanlike foul. So, but the tricky thing is that's not exactly the foul that was called on the floor. So definitely a tough situation for both to manage. And so it'll be just a common foul on the Jiakang. But of course, I think the Pilots can be looking at the fouls on the quarter and the difference there is. And of course, it seemed looked like Beast was initiating the contact, but after all that commotion, we'll have a television timeout to see if both sides will pull down. It's the Pilots and Braves tied up at 66.
跟我们的打友一起来干杯 ！Hello， 小雨、千瑞、佩佩，来喽！嗨，一起来干杯！跟我们的打友一起来干杯！哇哦，这喝得很猛啊，喝得非常猛啊，非常棒！记得回去可以在 YouTube 上截图哦。 传到我们 Celsius 的 IG， 就可以获得1箱的 Celsius。现在笑着笑着却哭啦，快乐变得那么复杂。Hello， 一起来干杯一下吧！哇哇哇，非常有创意呀！哦吼吼吼吼！非常有创意，谢谢。
Back inside of a Taoyuan arena where the start of this third quarter has been filled with some fireworks, both from a shooting perspective and, shall we say, the extracurriculars department. There's so much to be speaking about. Ayers coming in and hitting a 3 after only 1 field goal in the first half, but it's Justin, 7 points on the quarter, and the Braves only losing 3 points, but of course, previously have this beast offensive surge going on their side.
Yeah, we've seen Ayers definitely full of passion in terms of his basketball playing, but a little back and forth here. Pilots went on a little bit of a run, and very interesting turn of events we got here as tensions run high, I would say. After this timeout, we'll see how that maybe has affected their play, but we see Jet about to inbound the ball to start us off after this little timeout.
17-14 just on the quarter as the Pilots in the first quarter, 30 points, already a high in the series as another offensive board. That's the 5th by the Braves on the quarter. The one blemish of the Pilots this frame as Jet over the top of Jason Washburn for the lead.
Yeah, Jet's just fall-away jumpers, just his money shot, and you always got to be ready to guard that, but tough to guard even with Washburn's long arms. Right over the top there as
Ethan dumps it off, but not a clean catch. Washburn will miss the close one. Wang Hoan is in for the Pilots tasked with guarding Beast, but it's Chen lining another one in.
Jed giving a little shimmy celebration there. You guys didn't see it on the TV, but definitely showing this crowd, trying to silence them a little bit, show the Braves are here to play.
A little bit of a 3-2 zone as Huang Han rifles it to Justin. Staying baseline, he will get a foul. As the ball went up the side of the backboard, but the first by the Braves will be a shooting foul. Get previously just the screen and over Washburn on the switch, but then the next time a little crossover to his strong hand. Now Jet did commit his third personal. Liu Junshan will miss his free throw.
Yeah, the Braves switching to a little 3-2 zone like you mentioned, Ryan, just trying to get out to the perimeter with all the hot shooters that the Pilots have been having in these last couple of minutes in this third quarter. But you know, the problem with the 3-2 zone is it leaves the middle wide open for penetration or trying to find someone in the high post. So look for the Pilots to adjust really quickly on the other end of the court.
Now it's Beast and Zaitsev, but there's a whistle first, and it'll be free throws. So the Pilots probably pretty smart with this double team, but they say there was a foul, and they're trying to contend it should be a jump ball. It's going to be on Huang Hoan, his first personal. Kind of unlucky, more or less, as he had his hand reached in there in between Jet's arms. So yes, indeed a foul, but certainly, I guess, like I said, strategically, what seemed like caught Chen off guard there.
We had a note down earlier talking about the strong defense that the Pilots were gonna come out with during this game, and it seems like they're maybe been a little bit too physical recently in this third quarter, as you know, every foul from now on is going to be free throws with 4:43 left. That's going to take a toll on the Pilots here as the Braves get to stop the ball and shoot free throws on every foul now.
Well, quickly down the floor. Beast was crashed into, but no whistle there. So the defense resets. It leaves Huang Hoan open. Dumping it down to Washburn around two and banking it in.
So a beautiful play by Washburn after the little breakdown in the defense. Found a little opening there on the short corner, and nice move there to get two players to jump by and spun right through him.
But short, Jet might be running out of legs as that one bounces out of bounds.
As we see here, perfect rotation, finding the open spot and splitting the two defenders, trying to block his shot. Nice little touch off the backboard. Nice little kiss there to bring it home. Maybe he thinks he got hit in the head. Yeah, as he pats his head, but play continues on as the Braves are up 2 points.
There's a flop warning issued as they continue this odd-looking zone with Zaitsev on the perimeter. Airs out to Washburn. Quick three. There was no whistle on the play. I thought there was, but the Braves will slow it up. Under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Beast down low to Johnson, but the pass goes through Josh, unable to save it inbounds as he acrobatically avoids the towel boy there on the corner.
We're seeing the Braves here trying to get the ball to Johnson or one of the guards to try to get a favorable switch off that ball screen, and it seems like they'll keep coming back to that until they get a nice switch. And we saw Johnson slip there, but just couldn't hang on to that ball.
Washburn going one-on-one, gets it on target. And number 42 doing the heavy lifting through the the latter parts of this quarter. 29 points.
We've been saying his name all game long, and we'll probably continue to hear it.
And on the other side, Zhang Zhenyan commits the foul as now Ayers having some words with Zhou Guiyu.
Here's some booing from the crowd, and a lot of thumbs down on that call there, as we'll see a quick replay, maybe confirm.
A little bit of a hold, and indeed that left hand goes to too much work.
Maybe a little, I wouldn't say flopping, but a little over-exaggeration potentially to sell that call. But, you know, that's how basketball is these days. It's pretty fast pace. Even the littlest of things can trigger maybe a trip or a fall. But like I mentioned earlier, these free throws are going to kill them, as every foul just sends them to the line.
A little bit too much mustard on that free throw attempt. Zhou Guiyu, a third-year pro, but only 24 years old, versus Zhang Zhenyan, his first year as a pro, but already 23 years old. But Ayers took exception to that stank eye he gave him on the floor. So a 1-for-2 free throw trip. Washburn again, right in the middle there. This time it's Zaitsev to the corner. Huang Hen drops it out of bounds.
Even though it was turned over there by Washburn, that's exactly what I like to see, though, when you're attacking a 3-2 zone, is get the ball in the middle. And we could see, you know, a couple of guys, at least 3 Braves collapse there on defense, and the pass was open, but maybe it got a little deflected. But
as Winston,
offensive foul,
shifting with his feet, called for the legal screen as TJ tried to jump free. And Rogers got as annoyed as you can imagine look, as you see a little bit too hyper was Winston there.
Yeah, there's a reason why TJ was so wide open there on that 3, and you know, just a little bit of a illegal shove there.
Allhan off the mark with his 3-point attempt. Been positive on defense, but has not been positive on offense. Z driving right at Washburn. He does leave himself an angle. Zaitsev finally getting on the board after a long stretch. He's only got 6 points. Now right now manning the back line with Chen Xiangxun. Block shot by 21.
Good rotation there, as you know, Jack probably read that pass a little early. Just a previous replay. Zaitsev just taking it straight to Washburn. Good rotation there. Good awareness.
Zaitsev got a hand on it as no pilots got free. You have just about 8 seconds to run a play. The pilots trying to go with shooting. Justin is in for Ethan as they find themselves down by 3.
Maybe look for a quick pass back to Justin right after this inbound. Maybe take a quick step in to find some open space.
Deflected passes. The ball goes the other way. Zhou Guiyu. Chen Xiangxun over to TJ. This time left open as that one's way overshot. So the Pilots kind of get away with a turnover and a not great fast break coverage.
Yeah.
Showing so much urgency, but now Pauian makes his move over to Justin. The 3, no.
Strong rebound there.
To TJ this time. Winston right there again. That's Buntu Yangjiang. The one-footed runner. Definitely getting a feeling that the Pilots imports are fatigued now.
They've been put a heavy load on so far, as we've seen Washburn just playing his heart out there, and Ayers playing a lot stronger here in the second half, but eventually all those minutes add up to your legs.
Look out to Justin. He takes the mid-range too strong, and another brave stop. Up by 5 with a couple possessions left in the quarter.
Try to find a high-quality shot here. About 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Taking a little slow right now, but some off-ball movement there.
Zaitsev will put up a 3. Chases his own rebound, 9 seconds left. Then Xiangjun will smartly slow it up. Screen and roll, TJ, his runner is good. And with that, the third quarter is in the books with the Braves making a late run and in fact taking a 7-point lead into the fourth and final frame of this one. The Pilots need to find something as they try to stave off elimination here at home.
谢谢我们 Pilots Crew。好的，把目光移向我们的大荧幕，恭喜我们大荧幕上005、001、037、007、006、013获得我们的活力局迷你音乐胶囊，还有010、024、032、030、028、042、031、009、055、035获得我们机能水壶包。 恭喜069、033、036、020、039、004、002、041、025、012获得我们3层真空的运动一口瓶，恭喜！好，我们要抽出2位由棉豆腐所提供的催眠面包枕，恭喜我们1楼航下席 C 区5排19号。
The Plus League Finals set for Saturday, June 3rd at 5 p.m.
G 区7排8号，恭喜！
As the Braves held the Pilots scoreless for the last 3 minutes. The early exports by Jet Zhang Dongxian throwing up to CJ for the fanciest play of the game, but overall it was the defense that led them to some opportunities on the other side, kind of wearing at the Pilots.
Yeah, for sure. The Braves have definitely been pushing the pace and putting a lot of pressure on the Pilots, like you mentioned, Ryan. But the problem was that we've seen, especially in the last couple minutes of that third quarter, was just offensive rebounds in general. The Pilots haven't been able to secure the ball after a Brave shots was giving them a lot of second chance and third chance points that these Pilots can't give up in the last quarter. So they just got to box out. It's plain and simple.
Winston will go to the hoop, swallowed up there. And a stop for the Pilots. Andy in at power forward as he'll line up a 3. And a desperately needed score by their rookie Andy.
Oh, it's
TJ going back. The alley-oop will miss.
I thought he missed that pass there. He was a little late on the back cut, but beautiful find at the end. Just a tad off.
And another butterfingered slippage. Now it's Josh working his way right. 2 defenders on him as Zaitsev swings it to Jack. His 18-footer is wet.
A little double screen action at the top by the Braves, and just a little swing back to Zaitsev. He had an open 3 there, but decided to pass for a better shot in the short corner, and it was a wise decision.
That one's in and out. He's averaged 4 points per game on the series, but has not been the reliable shooter like he was in the regular season. Josh guarded by Mayao. The screen comes and there's a holding foul as Zhang Zhenya cannot get around the screen. He'll come out of the game. That's definitely one of those, you're trying to be a veteran by creating a physical advantage, but in the end, it's a foul and a disadvantage. So Ethan and Jackie into the backcourt as, just like that, the Braves give it back.
Just gifted them a turnover there, but the Pilots got to capitalize on these types of situations, as they got to take every situation they can get, as like we mentioned, they've had a decent amount of turnovers throughout this game. They're not necessarily known for pace like they were in the first quarter, so every possession matters here coming down the stretch.
And again, Jackie took a little bit of a hit on his dribble drive, and they'll have to take it out of the sideline. Well, we said in the third quarter, one kind of underlying factor was the Pilots in foul trouble early, sending the Braves to the free throw line. But so far, early 2-1 as Ethan sets up a quick three. And another foul, this time on the shot. So as much as we give Ntokwe credit, he's made a couple mistakes on the quarter. There you see crashing into the arms. Ethan has a lot of college film, I can tell you, and he now has played every single game as a Pilot, so you know what his form looks like. Got to be a little bit more careful than that.
Yeah, definitely unnecessary. So it wasn't even on the shot. It was a little after the follow through, but still affects the shooter all the same, and just a little arm across the shooter's arm there. No excuse for giving up 3 free throws here late in the fourth quarter, or late in the game in the fourth quarter.
But Bayalta misses the first one on the regular season, only a 70% free throw shooter. Now, Bayalta, a good candidate for Rookie of the Year, but the shooting split's definitely something he'll be working on in the offseason. Only 1 for 3. Winston with a couple flare screens. Now TJ out to Zaitsev. Reaches up and scores. Oh, reliable move there from Big Z.
We're just seeing the defensive breakdown by the Braves. Just all these different, elevator screens, away screens, fill screens as the ball crashes into our table over here. But the Pilots just having a little bit of trouble recovering on all these different switches and all these pump fakes, as well as a beautiful shot by Zaitsev to get MD in the air.
Chen Jianjun, give him credit for being very disruptive as a corner man on the zone with a block shot and now a deflected pass. So the other side is Chen Li-Huan with his first playing time as a Pilot in the playoffs. Challenge right away and eventually a travel call. Definitely kind of a risk, but Calvin is a veteran player, so you would think he can avoid mistakes like that. Winston hanging in there, and the ball tipped out. He puts it right back up, but short.
Yeah, these different, away screens, these curls, these cuts are a big problem for the Pilots. As Ayers hits a huge 3 there at the top of the key to cut it down to 4. He's bringing a lot of energy here to the Pilots in this fourth quarter.
All his points beyond the arc. As Chen Jianjun steps to the line, but no. And the scramble for the rebound eventually picked up by Calvin. Little 2-on-2, Euros his way right and misses Ayers, who was crashing the board. Everybody playing a little bit too hurried. But ball out of bounds, so the Pilots can set up their half-court D, and especially now that they need to dry up the hardwood. But another look, Calvin, you thought he actually had a step going right, and so did Ayers. More or less unlucky there.
Yeah, had a beautiful Euro step there. Created plenty of space for that right-hand layup, and Ayers was probably looking for that offensive rebound if he were to miss, but his hands a little down and weren't ready to catch that ball there on the pass.
Trying to stick with Winston. Over to TJ. Over to Zaisa. Big three is in. Creating a little more breathing room for the Braves.
Still plenty of time left here to play, and the Pilots know that. They're moving the ball a lot better than they have in this quarter so far, as we see a defensive breakdown there for that corner three. Didn't connect, but open and good look, none the same.
That's the first shot attempt from Calvin in the playoffs. To say in weeks, as Winston had that one blocked out of bounds. Caminos immediately signaling no, he doesn't want a video review. Kind of funny turn of events, but immediately the Pilots switching up their bigs. It's Washburn and Ken coming in together.
Seems like Washburn got a good amount of rest there, as we were mentioning earlier in the third quarter. Maybe all these minutes are causing a little bit of fatigue for the big men. So we'll see if he can continue his extremely efficient and high-scoring night in this fourth quarter here.
Pieces in the Spain pick and roll as Jack putting it on the deck. The spin move, and now that would have been a very worrying sight if Sun Xiangjun could make one on moves like that. Back on defense. Justin from the top with a mid-range shot. Missing the mark, but long rebound to Ethan. Right back to 69, and it's good.
Big time shot there by Justin, just off that second chance. Rebound there, just putting it straight through the net and cutting the deficit down to 4.
Right away with a 3 attempt, and that will fall out of bounds. So brick by brick, the Pilots are building up this case in this elimination game. Now the Braves kind of flexing a little bit with this zone look.
Trying to find Justin open to Washburn to maybe draw some extra space, but decides to put it up anyways. Maybe a little bit of a forced shot there, but can't complain as he's been playing very well.
And then he commits a mistake by letting Sun Xiangjun get behind him, and as hard as they play, just like that, they kind of give it up. Well, one last break of the broadcast. 6 minutes to go to the final of this one here in the Plus League playoff.
好的，准备好你手中的 Celsius， 我们要来一起做出干杯 Camp， 跟我们的家康一起来干杯。来喽，嗨，一起干杯一下吧。Hello， 美女，跟我们的领航骑兵李家康来干杯一下。来，干杯，干杯。OK， 好的，耶，干杯一下。谢谢你们，谢谢。嗨，弟弟，跟我们的 Celsius 一起来干杯，谢谢。
Oh My Basketball 是我本人在 ID Bar 学英文吧教你的篮球英文术语，搭配 P.LEAGUE 的影片，打造全新的线上课程。欢迎大家在资讯栏点连结一起学习。Before we went to break, the Pilots, we were building a case for them making their comeback, but a poor shot and then a easy fast break layup with nobody covering. So the Braves up by 6 as they're sticking with this 2-3 zone with a lot more attention given to Chen. Ethan to Walker, he puts it up and in. That one in rhythm.
Yeah, the problem with the zone is that middle is wide open and open to penetration, and we see that dribble penetration by the Pilots, and Washburn able to find that open space in the middle to put down that tough floater.
He overshoots the 3, and Zaisev puts it right in.
We'll have to take a look at offensive rebounds throughout this entire game at the end of this match, as we've seen it's been a problem for the Pilots, but also a slight problem for the Braves as well, as great defense there.
Then Shanjun flying in for the block as Beast taps it loose, stays in bounds. Little 2-on-2, KJ to Jet, and another Braves score.
It's a great defensive sequence there by the Braves all around, not only with a good rotation there on the block to block that shot, but good communication on the fast break, the 2-on-1 fast break, to make sure to ensure that ball went into the basket without trying to force anything too much.
They slow it up, 4.5 to go. The lead is 8. Spread way out wide. KJ pass to Jack. Mid-range is in. He's been so consistent with that shot this season, and the Pilots kind of hanging on by a thread now. This personnel has really not worked out for them on the offensive end. Previously, it was Zaisev beating 2 Pilots down low. And that's a case of second efforts that we've known the Braves to take advantage of in the game, but previously the extra effort was Jack flying in for the block and then B saving it in bounds, and a good execution. KJ maybe leaving his feet a little too early, but when you have Zhen Xiangjun, who's so sure-handed down the middle, seems like a good play as Camino's trying to draw up something in desperation. With 4.5 to go, you would think there's a lot of time, but it's already been kind of a slow burn for the Braves to increase this lead.
That's true. Since the Braves currently have a 10-point lead, 93 to 83, they're able to control the tempo a little bit. As you know, the Pilots are definitely going to have to play a little faster than they're used to try to get some points on the board, maybe take some more risks defensively, try to take some more steal opportunities. But the Braves are able to, if they're able to play a slow pace, they're able to make good passes, keep their eyes up. The more risks the Pilots take, the better opportunities the Braves have to get some easier baskets on the other end. Maybe an aggressive double team could lead to an open guy down low with Zaisev or another big. So we'll see the Pilots try to take a little more risks here in these last sliver over 4 minutes. But let's see the Braves try to stay solid and keep the fundamentals.
Down to Washburn, who gets the score. That time a little screen and ball screen helped create the opening. So again, they execute out of the timeout, but now they need to go to work on defense. Beast will try a good 3 this time. Deep behind the line there.
Beast has just been extremely solid this game so far, and maybe he was a little quiet in the third quarter, but we see a miss there by Justin. It's a little quiet in the third quarter, but coming alive here when they really need him down the stretch.
That time Ethan, nice protect. And then Washburn delivering it the rest of the way. But the other side, again, Jackie doing his best, but Probably needs 5 or 6 inches more on his reach. He's now 26 and 10 on his night, trying to close this one out early. They already know the Kings have to at least play one more game, as that one just goes out of bounds. Now, both teams have saved their challenges, and it looks like Caminos will use his here. At least number 25, Linton, is very much convinced, though the referee's having a conversation first. And will save the Pilots a challenge, in fact.
We see here on this replay, he's taking it all the way, but just lost it off his hand.
Let's go, Pilots.
So maybe unfortunately for Ken, one less block shot, but a good result overall.
Let's go, Pilots! Let's go, Pilots!
Linton from the short corners. They haven't generated any open look. Now Jackie running in there. Gives up the free throw opportunity, so the shots is way back. And look at Ken fighting hard for the board, and a foul by the Braves. They only had one to give, so maybe the Pilots take it in more aggressively for the rest of the quarter.
With the Braves up 11 here, you want to try to get the ball to your hot hands, and that's currently Washburn and Justin. Is they got to make some shots to try to get this lead down. And you know, right as I said that, Washburn goes out and Ayers goes in. So I like to see Justin get the ball, try to take a couple shots, or maybe Ayers as well, as need a little bit of scoring boost right here to cut this lead to something more manageable.
Going down, and Jackie will go to the free throw line on the stumble. Of course, the Braves bench convinced he fell on his own powers. Let's give him a look at KJ. Maybe guiding him down to the hardwood there.
Yeah, seems like they took your advice, Ryan, and just being a little bit more aggressive and taking it right at their defender and getting free throws rewarded for it. As you know, this is a perfect scenario for the Pilots. You can put some points on the board, and the clock's not running, so exactly what you want.
Jackie was perfect 2 for 2, but kind of flung it up there for a miss. The Pilots 8 for 14 now on the evening. It's almost felt like they've been more productive shooting the 3 ball, 11 for 28. Makes a good correction for a second free throw. Under 3 minutes to go, they're gonna have to play real good basketball, down by 10. Beast, fakes going left, now right. Out to KJ, he's driving and kicking. Finishing left open, but the line drive is off. And again, KJ with the offensive rebound, wearing down the Pilots even more. Now it's Jet's turn, going on Justin. Now Beast. 3 seconds left, swinging it up there. And there was a foul. So, as deadly as he's been shooting, forcing the Pilots to go to extreme measures on the defensive end.
You know, that's just a bad foul there. Shot clock winding down. Less than 2 seconds left, I believe. And just sticking his hand in there. That's a very tough shot, nonetheless, but you know, it happens, and played all that time for pretty good defense just to bail him out on a 3-point shot. That's not something the Pilots want. And it all came about from an offensive rebound. So all these second chance points, second chance opportunities by the Braves are just really biting the Pilots here.
And a perfect 3 for 3 trip, so you could say that's a kind of a 4-point swing with the Pilots missing their free throw. And then Beast going up to a hero's applause, breaking his individual personal playoff scoring high. Of course, that took 2 overtimes to get to that point. Braves still sticking with their keys on a defense, as Ayers dangerous pass, and Winston crashes into a foul. And it's the Li Jiakang who just kind of caught in between there.
Yeah, brought him to his knees, trying to get that shot off. Hopefully you can see that replay here in a second, but some more free throws here for Jackie. When time stopped, very important for the Pilots. Every second matters.
And again, this is the first. One person we probably should give a lot of credit to is Igor Zaytsev, sticking in the middle of the zone. He's played all of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, his presence has been extremely helpful for the Braves to deter a lot of drives inside, and just his rebounding ability as well so far is not only on the defensive side, but we've seen a couple of offensive boards as well and a little putback. So Zaytsev is playing very well. A little maybe undershadowed by Beast's performance, but something we shouldn't just toss away.
Things in. The driving kick to Ethan. His three is up but short. And again, another save by the Pilots as Justin misses. And you can definitely feel that things are kind of getting tight on their end. We're going to be under a minute after the Braves' possession here.
That's tough with about a minute left. Down 12. Not much you can do on the other end except for get a couple of quick shots up if you can, and not only get shots up, but you got to make them. And Pod's going to have to do that at a very healthy clip in the next minute and 7 seconds.
To their credit, they've scored 38 in the second half, so 87 is way above their average on the series, but allowing 99 by the Braves, a pretty good trap, but they throw it out. Chen to Jet's three-point attempt as they call a foul on Winston, kind of a little bit of a mercy play for the Pilots.
Yeah, we'll see Ethan box out here, just trying his best, and
the arm action a little too much, the refs say. He'll check out, and so will Jet and Jun Sang-ju, or Jack Jack they like to call him.
Definitely not over though, as Ethan has 2 free throws here. Can cut it down to a 10-point game.
And kind of funny in this one, it's the Braves veterans between Jed and Beast, of course, doing the heavy lifting, and the second generation's more or less in there for some fatigue minutes, some defensive purposes, more or less, unlike the second game of the series.
These oldsters didn't want to get shown up again and have all the credit taken away, so they came out strong here in this this elimination game for the Pilots, and definitely showed why they should be playing these minutes. But 10 points with less than a minute to go, 50 seconds on the clock. Got a full court press here if you're the Pilots. Just try to create as much opportunity as possible. Some double teams, maybe jump some passes, try to go for some steals, but the Braves are just holding the ball up at half court, can't do much about it.
Nice tic-tac-toe by the Braves. Josh to Ling Mengxue to Brendan Smart. Three by Jackie is no good, and that will pretty much end the Pilots season, as they do play much better at home, but really went through a couple of droughts scoring, which in fact gave the Braves a lot of momentum.
Yeah, the clock's winding down. You see no shot clock violation, but just running the clock down as the Braves move on. And the Pilots, unfortunately, their season ends here.
101 to 89 is the final, as if we get to tell the story of the third season Taoyuan Pauian Pilots last year ended up being the last place team of the league. Picked up 3 players in the first round of the draft in the first 4 picks, and then signed 3 import free agents and stuck with them all season, which is a change for them. And under Coach Caminos and Chen put together a relatively competitive program. In fact, getting a plus league record 10 wins in a row, but toward the end of the season started coming off the rails a little bit, and heading into the playoffs kind of had to scrape by with a win against the short-handed Lioneers before eventually making the playoffs. But they'll have a lot to think about as their season is concluded. Of course, the positive is they have a lot of young talent on their team. Of course, need a lot of experience, and they definitely got their dose of it in the series against the Braves as they're trying to put together Beast Lin Zijie for the post-game interview. Ziwei and Mark on the Mandarin broadcast. Asked about his workload in the game. B saying he is indeed very tired.
没有哎，可能是我第一节可能他看我感觉还不错吧，所以就继续让我在场上这样。
Saying he played so well in the start of the game that the game plan might have shifted toward him more. Now, asked about the 2013.
因为我觉得，因为那个战术出来了嘛，然后一个很大的空档，结果我投一个非常歪，然后后来篮下就文成就拨到，然后我又刚好follow进去，然后就从他们中把他抢下来，然后就是放进，然后就蛮振奋自己，对啊。
B saying the fist pump is obviously a result of a follow-up effort.
谢谢。
Now, asked again about a closeout game, just like last year against the Dreamers.
其实也不是说打光明战，因为我觉得前面其实年轻的就是做得非常好。我觉得像我们在球场上，不管谁状况不好，马上就有衔接，然后尤其是上一场年轻的在第4节把他顶下来，然后觉得非常的为他们感到骄傲。对。
B saying that the kids were holding it down in the past and in just the last game here, so it was time for him to show how proud he was by finishing things off here in Game 3. Well, we got one break in the broadcast before we wrap things up from Taoyuan, where the Braves emerge victorious and will have a spot in the Plus League Finals for a 3rd straight season.
Boy, I'm trying to meet your mama on a Sunday, then make a lala on a Monday. Never need no one else, babe, 'cause I'll be switching up positions for you. Cooking in the kitchen and I'm in the bedroom. I'm in the Olympics where I'm jumping through hoops. Now my love would be nothing I wouldn't do, that I wouldn't do. Switching for you. Perfect, you're too good to be true. But I get tired of running, fuck it, now I'm running with you. With you, say I'm trying to meet your mama on a Sunday, then make a love on a Monday. Never need no one else, babe, 'cause I'll be switching up positions for you. In the kitchen and I'm in the bedroom. I'm in the Olympics where I'm jumping through hoops. Now my love will be nothing I wouldn't do, that I won't do. Switching for you, cooking in want to, but for you I cannot want to, 'cause you're down for me, and you're down for me. Switching up positions for you.
Getting in a final word here from Taoyuan. The last time we will be here for the Plus League in the third season. The final score 101-89 for the Taipei Fubon Braves, who will be moving on to the Plus League finals. Their opponent to be determined, and the pilot season is over after putting up a much healthier effort here at home. Both teams kept their turnovers down, but the rebounding margin, just an immense thing that the Pilots were not able to overcome, both from the scoring output and how much probably it sapped the energy out of them. And on the offensive side, the Pilots went through a number of their own droughts, which gave the Braves energy to finish them off.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the rebounding, just the offensive glass, the Braves attacked the offensive glass very aggressively and put a lot of pressure on the Pilots to, try to combat that, and that could lead to extra energy boxing out, extra players that they normally don't have to. But the Braves came out very strong, and I know you said in the beginning that the Pilots would have to hold them to, what'd you say, around 70?
Well, Camino said the goal was 80.
Yeah, well, seems like they were a little off on that estimate, as they scored 101 points here today. But definitely got to be stronger on the defensive end. But today their offense was not exactly to be desired, but they played very strongly in the first half, but cooled off a little bit in the second.
And so, of course, tomorrow is game 4 between the Dreamers and Kings down in Taichung, if that series will continue or not. But here in Taoyuan is the Braves who are moving on. So thanks, Pal, for joining us on another broadcast, and thank you, the viewers, on behalf of Ziwei and Mark, the 6 teams in the league operations. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.